Hello, everyone. Good evening. Hear me? Can you confirm you can hear me? Good evening.
Good
Hello.
evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Oh, beautiful. Good evening, Friday. Yes. Good evening. Yes, I believe I'm very clear. I'm very audible. And I also want to believe that you can see my screen. Can you see my screen? Please confirm. You can see my screen.
Good
Yes, I
evening,
can
ma.
see your screen.
Yes, I can see.
Good evening, Joy. Good evening. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Joy. Thank you, Oluwa Adedayo. Thank you, Inade, Friday, and Femi. And yes, thank you, Oluwa Sheun. Yes, Sheun, welcome. I heard your voice at the beginning. Welcome. All right. Yes, Priska is with us too. Yes, we have a lot of persons coming in. Wow, beautiful. Good evening, everyone. And good evening. Yes, good evening. Thank you. All right. So, like you said, you can hear my voice and you can also see my screen. I think that's beautiful. All right, so it's a very good time to start. So we're going to be starting on that note. All right. Okay, so we will do a short prayers because we believe that this is a strategic session that's going to help us to navigate our entire ICAN courses, and specifically for this course, it's going to give us, that clear path that we need, for outstanding success. All right. So let's just pray. Um, if you're not a Christian, you could just mute and just pray, and then come back. All right. For Christians, I believe you can just listen as we pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for today. We magnify you for the gift of life. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for granting us this opportunity to come here to learn at your feet. Thank you, Lord, for the great things that you're going to be doing for us. Thank you for the testimonies that are abounding, from this webinar. Thank you, Lord Jesus, because we know this webinar is the beginning of great things that's going to be happening to us in our hike and journey. And this indeed will lead to success in the examinations we're sitting for in the name of Jesus. We ask, Lord, for direction in this webinar. We ask for insight. We ask that the Holy Spirit will speak to us, will help us to understand everything that we need to know, everything we need to do, and position us for success in our ICAN examinations. Father, we thank you because we know you've answered our prayers. You've heard us. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. All right. Yes. Welcome everyone to Fuller House. Now, yes, I can see Uma. Uma is here. Welcome. I can see Ayola Bajawai. Welcome. Kechi Wu. Welcome. Fumilayo. Yes, Fumilola, welcome. So I can see everyone is joining in. Welcome to today's class. So it's a mixture of two things. It's a class and it's also a webinar. And like I rightly mentioned in the audio, I said I'd rather take, part of my time to sharpen my knife so that I can get speed and I'm able to get my result on time. And so that's what this webinar is about. So I want you to be very open-minded in this webinar. Be very open-minded. I know it's late for some of you, but be open-minded, right? Because this is the beginning of the kind of sacrifices you're going to be making, the kind of discipline you want to be bringing on board, even on this ICANN journey. It's involved a lot of discipline. And I think this is one and this is the first, one that will help you to, that will launch you into that, discipline that we're going to be, having all through this period. All right. Okay. So like I rightly said, today's webinar, I want to show you how to pass advanced audit assurance forensic and advanced audit assurance forensic in one sitting. Yes. Is it possible? Very possible. Very possible. All right, so that's what we want to learn, today. And so the goal of the webinar, and I'm going to be going a bit I'm just going fast, not really too far, but I just want to get to the chase. And at the same time, you have the opportunity to stop me, ask questions. If you need me to pause on anything, please feel free, just use your emojis or use raise your hand and just let me know where you want me to, stop, right? So, but at the end of the webinar or at the end of this presentation, you would then have access to ask any question you want to ask. All right. So this webinar basically is to first, let you know what is what is expected, in terms of passing this course at once, and also for you to then interact with me. Like I rightly said, it's also a diagnostic, session, right? So a lot of us that registered have been able to collect certain information, right? And that's what we're going to be using, because when it comes to diagnosing issues, it has to be a one-on-one thing, right? So based on the answers, then I can begin to speak to those individuals one-on-one. But if you don't want to let out those things publicly, you can always DM. A lot of you have been doing that, so you can always DM and we can book a session and we then talk about it. But for today, we just want to dive into how to pass, audit assurance and forensic. All right. So please, can I get emojis if I can go ahead, or if there are certain things you want me to clarify before we move on? Emojis, should I go ahead? Emojis, should I go ahead? Okay, beautiful. Okay, Olifumi is giving, oh, beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. All right, thank you very much. So I'll be going ahead. All right. So how do we pass this course in one sitting? So the goal of the webinar is to explain how, let you understand why students fail this course and what is being tested in this course, and how we should begin to view this course from the examiner's point of view, and how we have to position ourselves on examination day, and also to review what had happened in the past and see if these things can actually impact on what's going to happen in the future, and then also get some examination insights, and also to expose to you the specialty at the SEPTA bridge, and some of the good reports we have gotten so far. So these are the things we're going to be covering in today's webinar. So we start from the reason why students fail, right? Like I said, I'm getting to the chase, no story, I'm just getting there. So why do students fail this course? Why? Why did they fail it? Number one is because a lot of times students are memorizing standards. I know this is a course of standard for every chapter you open in audit assurance. So when I studied assurance, permit me, I'm actually talking about both advanced audit assurance and forensic. Right. So most of the times, students understand that there are standards, and most times they memorize the standards and they think that is what earns the mark, and that's not it. Now, it's not just about knowing what ISA says. It's more about understanding, what does the standard, says, basically understanding why the standards puts that kind of position and how does that apply. All right. Number two is because sometimes students wrongly apply the standard. So in a case where they even understand what the standard is about, they wrongly, apply the standards. For instance, you then use, I don't want to be too technical here because I know some of us have just started the course. We haven't even gone through any topic, and some of us have even started. All right. So sometimes I'll mention, specific things, but other times I'll just be general. So that certain, for instance, it's not just enough for you to say this is what ISA says concerning this issue. It's more about how to apply to the issue. All right. Another reason is because sometimes students are taking the position of a student rather than taking the position of a professional, and such the professional judgment is weak. All right. So in practical terms, you're going to see that, professional judgment is weak. And number next is because there is poor interpretation of scenario-based question. Now, this one is very important. Now, for most of us that are writing AAF, right, your number one question will likely or most likely be a scenario-based question. Now, the scenario-based question, sometimes you get to see financial statement even in the question. And a lot of times students just feel, oh, financial statement, let me start calculating, or let me explain it or analyze the financial statement. And the thing is, that is not true for this course. So you don't do that. It's not financial reporting. That's not their goal. Their goal is not to bring financial reporting part two. Now, the goal here is for you to understand how to use the scenario that has been given, right? And to properly answer the issues, the auditing issues in that scenario. Now, the scenarios could be an IFRS issue. It could be a standard issue. What I mean is it could be issues on revenue recognition, for instance. But that's not what we're testing. We're not testing your ability to understand the rules in revenue recognition. That's not what we're testing. We want you to be able to state clearly from the auditing perspective, as a professional, as an auditor, right? As someone that we're evaluating the organization. What are those things, you're going to bring to the fore? And that's what this is about. So you have to clearly state the point and directly link each of the points to the scenario. So that's why students sometimes fail because they don't fully understand that. Now, the ones here are the ones that most times, right, a lot of persons, fall victim on. And these ones are the easiest to clear away, from your issues. Number one is weak report writing. A lot of times when people write reports, because when you get to read some of the things you write, you then see long paragraphs. Somebody's writing, maybe then you're supposed to identify the ethical issues, embedded in a case, right, or in a scenario. And then you then begin to write number one, you identify that, oh, there is a family accountant, he has been the accountant, or the auditor has been the auditor for this organization for the past 7 years, and there hasn't been a change in auditor. And then you're going to be writing long story, just long, long paragraph. No, when it comes to writing the answers, we expect you to have a good format for your report writing, right? So we want to be able to. I'm going to show you what it means to write a report. What are the things that should make up a report? So it's not just about writing long paragraphs and pouring out your mind. No, that's not what we're looking out for. We're looking out for structure to that report. We want to see key things, and I'm going to show you what a report looks like. Now, the next thing is poor time management. Yes. The truth is, for every ICAN examination you sit for, whether audit, FM, PM, whatever course it is, number one question is going to be that question that is set to mess you up. It is strategically put in place to actually make students fall. So it's like the devil somehow. What I mean is, it's there to just destabilize students. If you notice, if you take your time, go through past questions, you will notice that your number one question is highly voluminous in pages. Information therein are just a lot, relevant or not relevant, they are there. You then notice that you can't even, give yourself a very good understanding in terms of grasp what the question is about because it tosses you different ways, right? And then because of that, you want to take, you want to put your hand on it, you want to have a hand on what question one is, then you sit down with it with a plan of let me devour it, let me put everything straight. And in doing so, you waste a lot of time, spend excessive time that you should never even be spending on that question, right? So you want to be mindful that sometimes some people feel because they badly manage their time. They've probably spent 2 hours writing number one, right? And they've done a very fantastic job in doing that. But remember, no matter how fantastic, your answers are for question one, you can't get beyond the allocated marks, right? So 30 marks, you can't get beyond 30 marks. So the student is still limited to the allocated marks, which is 30 marks. So 30 over 100 is not passed. So you don't waste your time there. Now, lack of consistent practice, and this is very important. In this course, you have to demonstrate writings before you go for the exam. Now, let me explain something. A lot of times, students don't really spend time in this course. And when they do, right, what they do is they get summary notes and they begin to, read summary notes. And of course, a summary note will have points. And then they are just reading points and cramming points. But points won't get you anywhere. Now, if you've understood all the points, let's even assume you understand, oh, there are 5 ethical issues, there are 5 code of conduct. You've understood, yes, these things exist. Now, the issue is not that you know these things. Now, are you able to articulately write them in a way that will earn you mark? And this doesn't happen by just reading, it happens by writing. You don't practice writing, you know, on the examination day. Your writing practice should have happened long before the examination day. So this is what I say to students. So whenever you're studying this course, when you're reading it, right, even when you're going to be using summary notes and all of those things. Now, those summary notes are supposed to be like your revision notes. They're supposed to be like your picture notes. They're supposed to be something that brings to remembrance what you already know. They are not the master or material for the course. Get me right. They are not things that you just go read and say you've read the course. No, it won't help you. What you need to do is you need to understand the course, especially because a lot of persons are not even in practice. They don't even know what's going on in audits in real life. So you need a depth of understanding, right? You need to be, for instance, either you're reading the pack back to back or you're watching, lectures like we have on September, you're listening to the explanations of everything that needs to be learned, per topic, and that definitely would help you to understand and grasp that content. And then after which you take in pen, take in biro, and begin to practice remembering, like basically you want to recall what you have studied, what you read. You want to be sure you can really write a sentence on it. You want to write a paragraph on it, because that's exactly how you write in exams. You understood the point, but that's not enough. Can you write an epistle on it that makes sense, right? So that's something you need to know. And this is done by consistent practice. All right. So next thing we're going to be looking at is what is being tested in audits. Now, we're going to be starting with audit, assurance, and forensic. What is being tested? Because I understand that these courses and these two courses are not the same, even though they are similar. But we need to know what, if you're preparing for AAF, this is what you should be looking out for. If you're preparing for AAF, that's Advanced Audit, Assurance, and Forensic, this is what you should be looking out for. Now, for audit, assurance, and forensic, what you should be looking out for here is expect practical application and scenario analysis. Maybe not in a very deep form, but expect it. All right. So I've identified some of the things that you should be looking out for. For instance, when I mean practical application or scenario analysis, I'm not saying you're going to have like a long case study like you would have for those in the advanced level. No, you may not have that. But understanding application, even in those few lines, in those few paragraphs that the question is embedded in, you want to be able to identify and evaluate issues, right? Okay, for instance, I put an example. So for instance, you want to identify internal control weakness, in a situation. Maybe they've started a very small, it may not be long, please do. It might just be like a paragraph, another paragraph somewhere, and then they just write, oh, certain things that happen. And for you, they won't tell you this is internal control weakness. Nobody's going to say that to you. Are you able to pick that, oh, there are issues, right? Are you able to identify, oh, there is an internal control issues here. There's no segregation of duty. The same person writing the check is the same person approving the check. And that, so those are things you're looking out for. Nobody's going to write internal control anywhere, but you want to pick those things based on the things that have been indicated. All right. So you want to be able to identify them and evaluate those issues. Number two, for instance, is you want to be able to interpret those scenarios and be able to prefer relevant audit solutions. It's not enough to just tell us, oh, you interpret it. Because I see that's where a lot of students stop. Interpret by analyzing the scenarios, telling us why they did it wrong, telling us why the auditor should have asked for certain information, why the auditor should have confirmed rather than just taking the management words for it. They're just telling us interpreting scenario, but beyond that, you need to prefer relevant audit solutions, right? So don't just tell us that management should have, tell us what management should do. All right. So that is what this is about. So depending on the question, right? So you should be able to tell us, based on the scenario, what is the solution to the problem at hand? All right. So another thing is you want to be able to identify or develop audit procedures that are specifically tailored to the fact in the question. Now, when we mean audit procedures, for your level, for those in substantive testing is one. You're going to have a lot of those. You're going to be the topics. If you check your topics right in your pack, you'll notice that you have a lot of chapters on substantive tests. And in fact, chapter 10, 11, 12, has substantive tests and is looking at it from the different asset, non-current asset, liabilities, and others, right? Now, that chapter, right, it involves you understanding specificity to issues, right? The kind of testing that will happen, for a non-current asset is not the same for a current asset. It's not the same for liabilities, right? So your ability to identify those audit procedures specifically for that issue, right? So it's not just general audit procedures, because everybody will go, I know the audit procedures, these are number one. Number two, there's confirmation, there's inquiry, there's this one, and you're putting in there. But that's not what we're saying. In this situation, what audit procedure should be carried out? So you want to be able to clearly articulate that in your answer. All right. So that's something you want to pay attention to. Now, other things include, for instance, you want to demonstrate mastery, right? A minute, okay. So we're here now. Okay, yes, you want to demonstrate 1 minute, sorry. Okay, good. So we're done with the practical application and scenario analysis. So number two issue that is being tested here is technical audit proficiency. Now, under the technical audit proficiency, what we're looking at for here is your ability to demonstrate mastery over the core technical component of the audit process. And these are the things you get to see, things that has to do with internal control system. All right, you're looking at the COVID, look at the internal control, looking at the control environment and risk management and all, or risk assessment and all that. You're looking at audit evidence, right? This is very key. What are the different types of audit evidence? What are they? Which ones are more, which ones are more stronger, which ones are weaker, which ones have the management, presented. Can you put an for the situation, right? Risk assessment, ability to assess the risk, identify, the component of the audit that needs to be focused on, audit planning and strategy. So these are just, technical examples because, like I said, it's a practical session. So you need to understand these things, right? So these are technical things that you need to know, right? And be able to apply them as you get a question. Another thing that you need to know about what is being tested is adequate knowledge on information technology and digital auditing. Now, this has come to stay. It's no longer a new thing. It's not like, oh, they just introduced it. By now, every student should have a very good grasp of this. So, ability to understand IT controls, not just internal controls, internal control in an IT environment, all right? So, are you able to identify those general IT controls, those application IT controls? These are very important. Ability to understand, how cards is being used, advantages and disadvantages. And moving forward, we now have emerging technologies, AI, how it's being used in audits, robotics, all of these things. See, some of these things might not be explicitly contained in your pack because when it comes to IT, we keep moving forward. And as such, your pack was written in 2025, right? So certain things might not have been included there. But now these things are currently in today's world. And so the examiner will not say because it wasn't included in your pack, then it should not be tested. And this is something I want you to pay attention to. So they may not have been included in the pack, but if this is something that is within what is happening today, the examiner can actually bring them out because the examiner will not wait for 5 years. Remember, this pack has like a 5 years kind of I think it's 5 years span. So really, the examiner won't wait for 5 years before they can begin to test what is currently happening. No, they won't wait. So it won't be when they pack they review the pack in 2030 and then they start asking questions of what should have been asked in 2026. No, they won't do that. So be very aware that beyond your pack, this particular area, you need to go read it because it moves, in line with what happens, in the world. Now, the next thing you need to pay attention is professional ethics and judgment, right? So these are things that are being tested at your level, professional ethics and judgment. Are you able to identify the ethical, code of conduct, those fundamental principles, principles of integrity, objectivity, and all that? Are you able to identify the threats, those safeguards to those threats? Now, these are key things. This class looks like a revision class in a way, but these are core. So when you're reading, you're paying attention. That's why I'm doing this. When you're reading, you're paying attention. Then professional skepticism and judgment, ability to have a questioning mind, inquiring mind, asking questions. Because what are you going to be asking? You are the auditor in the examination hall. So you're asking management. So you take that position. You're not a student. You take a position of an auditor. You're reading the case study, you're reading the question, and your mind is, you are skeptical. When someone is skeptical, it means someone is doubting. I doubt everything the management is saying. So you don't be convinced because of the beautiful statement the management has said or written, right? No, you don't just be convinced. You are questioning that. You are doubting those positions. And that is why you are an auditor. Because as an auditor for real, you don't just get dissuaded management explanation. All right. So stewardship and accountability, understanding the role of the auditor, right, in terms of how the auditor is supposed to protect the public interest. Remember, the auditor, especially for statutory audits, the auditor is expected, every PIE, that is public interest entities, are supposed to have an auditor, right, because it's statutory for them. And so the auditor stands in there to protect the interest of the public, because the shareholders don't have access, most all shareholders don't have access to the internal workings of the company. So they rely so much on the auditor's report, about how the business has, has been. And so that report is very important. So you need to understand that role of an auditor, right? Being that steward that has that, responsibility to deliver, in the interest of the public, right? Then another thing is you need to have an understanding of regulatory and standard compliance. All right. So this is where your ISAs come in. You need to know them. I won't even say it's enough to just know their numbers, but fine. In the course of writing and you identify there's a need to mention a particular ISA, are able to mention them and able to write what some of the things as embedded, as long as it's in line with the question, that's fine. All right. But at the same time, don't be too fixated if you cannot remember all of the ISAs and their name. All right. So that you don't spend all your time trying to learn that, because that won't give you a lot of marks, right? So my point here is ability to know their names and their numbers, and taking a lot of time to do that will not necessarily give you like a very strong mark, right, in a particular question. But if you know it is an added advantage to whatever it is you have done, right? So, as sometimes the question might even chip it in, the question might even mention some of this. So when the question mentions it, you to return it, like try to re-mention it in your answers, right? So just for instance, mention says, oh, I say 200 and 300 talks about planning, explain that you to mention, oh, according to ISA 300, these are the things. So that also helps. And also understand Karma 2020 is still very applicable. All right. So understand what are the rules in terms of duties, rights of auditor, eligibility of auditor under the Act. This is very important. All right. So the next one is, which is the last thing when it comes to this AAF, is communication and presentation. And this one, this is where you need to really work hard. After you read and have understood, you need to work out how to marshal your points. How do you want to communicate? See, examiners, the people marking your script, right? They don't know what is in your head. None of them will ever call anyone for an interview to know how smart they are. They don't have an idea. What they know is, I will know a smart person by the answers I'm getting. That's all. So you want to be able to present your work in a way that your answers are very visible to the examiners and they are worth marking well for the examiner. This is very important. All right. So because you read, so this is the case of I've read, I've understood the course, but now the next thing is communication and presentation. Now this one, it's more of when we start doing the practice questions for all of our enrolled members. Once we start having our, you start taking your self-paced courses and our live classes, these are the things we're going to be concentrating on. How to answer questions. You've read, you've understood the topic. Okay. Now, these are the examination questions relating to this topic. Let's begin to write the answer. How are you going to be writing this answer? So these are the things we're going to be doing in our live classes. For most of our courses, all of our courses, that's what we're doing. We want to really be able to be in the forefront of writing this examination. All right. Okay. So how to marshal your points, how to present your arguments. All right. We're going to see that in practical terms in course of the classes. Points, how to be logical, how to articulate your like right in a way. How do you document your answers, right? So your skills will be tested, your writing skills will be tested. Do you understand what an engagement letter looks like? Can you draft one? Very important. Do you understand what a letter of representation should be about? Can you draft one? An auditor's report, do you understand what it should be? I know you know the name, you mean the definition, but can you draft an auditor's report? These are things that we need, to have very high skill in. And these are some of the things we're going to be distilling in our live classes. Okay, so that is about what is being tested when it comes to advanced audit, assurance, and forensic. Now let's go to the big boys. Now, big boys, please. Everything we've said in AAF still applies to you. But in addition to that, right, some of these things that you should also be paying attention to, right, is number one, ability to understand that your technical knowledge will be tested in terms of your audit standards and in terms of the law. And the law we're talking about here is CAMA. Understand that this time around we expect some level of rigor. We want it to be able to show there's a depth of understanding in this thing. We want that to show in the way you present your answers. What are the legal provisions, for instance, according to CAMA? Are you able to just mention those things, right? According to CAMA 2020, these are the rights of an auditor based on this question. So let's assume the question is talking about those things, right? Based on this question, for instance, these are according to CAMA, this is what CAMA says. Right now, even if you can't vomit it word for word, that's not what we're talking about. But ability to use certain keywords, yes, ability to use some of those keywords, as many as you can remember. And you remember, like I said, these things don't come okay into your head and it's just normal. All right. Ethical frameworks, I already said that. Principles, fundamental principles, understand what they mean, not just definition, right? Understand what they mean in the context of the question in which you're dealing with. All right. So the next one is practical audits, procedures, and skill. Remember, this is the final lap of audit. So they need to be sure you are good to go, for an audit firm to just take you up and employ you. So they want to be sure what are your because let me even say something. People that will be setting your questions, right? Are people that have practical audit experience, right? So these are people in the industry. These are people that really are on the field. So you would expect them to be asking you questions based on what they interact with every day, all right? And these things are practical things, all right? So that's the way they'll be looking at it. So practical audit procedures and skills, so you want to apply, your theory that you already know. You've read the textbooks, yes, you've read all the summary notes, yes, this has given you theory, but are you able to apply it to this scenario? In this scenario, what is the audit plan? What audit strategy should the auditor, adopt? How have you evaluated the internal control system in this organization? How do you think your audit evidence should be gathered? What are the analytical procedures that you think will be taken? And what are the things that should be documented in working paper, for instance? Now, these are clear practical issues. No, these are things that you are like on the audit, you're on the field, on the client side, you're on the field, and you see a situation, and the question is, how would you respond to that situation in practical terms? All right. It's not difficult. So don't forget the way this thing is sounding so serious and so so serious. It's not as because that it's not at all. Once you understand it, don't worry, we're gonna all of those things, our classes is gonna sort all of those things out. It will flow. In fact, the words will just be flowing from you. It will be flowing from you, it will be flowing. All right. So the next one is information technology and specialized audits. Like I said, this time it has come to stay. There's no excuse. You need to understand depth of IT beyond your pack. I'm putting a clause there, beyond your pack. All right, so we're going to be reading certain article that is outside the pack that has to do with IT and audit. And this thing is going to give us like a very deep wealth of knowledge on this area. All right. And we know that they didn't change the pack just for changing sake. They added a title, they put in forensic now. Before we didn't have forensic as a name, we only have audit and assurance, right? But now we now have forensic. And that cannot be for play. It's for a reason, right? So expect more questions. So they've been doing that before now, but I expect questions on forensic investigation, even for AAF people, please expect questions around this forensic investigation and all of that. All right. So be willing to be willing to respond to some of these so some of these questions. Okay, so now the next thing is professional judgment and communication. Of course, you are now a professional, you're an advanced, you're at advanced level. Professional skepticism must be really high at this point. You should be able to identify those things immediately, right? You should be able to have that analytical and interpretive, skills in terms of ability to, interpret scenarios, right? Rather than just reciting what it is about, interpret the implication, solution to those scenarios. Communication, this is also very key. How you draft your report, how you draft your document, how you write, very important. So it's just because you are handwriting. If you were to type, right, if you're going to be taking ACCA, for instance, where you're not handwriting anything, you're typing these things, just imagine how your report is going to look like. That's exactly why ICAN wants indirectly. Before they even launch the online platform and the platform where they are working on, they expect you to still present your answer as though you are typing it. So you want to put yourself, okay, if you're in the office and I'm going to put up a report, how is it going to look like? Sometimes if the answer requires this prepare a report, that's what they want. They want to see that. And that's communication. All right. They want to see that. All right. So now we're going to go to the next thing, which is the examiner's lens. All right. So examiner's lens gives us what the examiners have done before. What were they what were the things the pitfalls they've identified? How important are these things? How can we position ourselves? Now, this is where we say the tricks in passing exam, right? So when you've learned, you've read, there's always tricks. For every examination, there are always tricks. Just always know that no matter how difficult it is, there are tricks. And a smart student will not just read alone. You also want to understand the tricks. Now, I've taken my time to analyze this, and I've been able to also identify the number of times they've mentioned some of these things. So number one with the highest is they are talking about, for those in audit assurance and forensic, they are really saying and complaining that students are not able to explain concepts or procedures. See that they're not able to explain concepts or procedure. And do you know why they are not? Because they lack the words. They know these things probably in their head. If I ask you what is an audit report, you know it, right? Who doesn't know it? But the question is, can you explain an audit report without saying things that would not make sense? Like we can explain an audit report using the right words. We audit report definition, just explain things as though you're an English student. Or will you explain it to me as though you're an accounting student that has gone through audit class? So that's the difference. So the reason why examiners are saying they cannot explain, because like I bet the students are saying we're explaining this thing. They say we're not explaining. We're explaining. The issue is not that they're not explaining. The issue is they're not using the technical word in their explanations. So, and those technical words can only come by usage. It doesn't come by flipping through summary notes. I'm telling you this thing. Notes or revision notes are just for glance sake. You need to interact with this word. You need to listen to it. You need to read it. You need to use these words in your vocabulary, because that's how you remember to use them in the examination, right? You can't begin to learn new English, that you never really took notice of when you were reading. All right. So please, that's one major issue they're talking about. That candidates are not able to explain concept, but that will change for us. Every one of us on this call, that will not be our portion, because we're passing these exams. This one, we're passing it. Number two, misinterpretation of question requirements. Not able to understand when they are meant to discuss something, when they are meant to state, when they are meant to just tell us the scope of something, ability to identify this. So you can see that this thing is beyond reading. So that's why we said, yes, our self-paced course takes you through the reading, the depth, and everything. But then beyond that, are we preparing for the examinations? And we do that in our life classes. Can we begin to even put ourselves before the examination, and see if we can answer this question for real, not just head knowledge? And so that's something they are complaining about. And 27 times they mentioned that. Another one is they're also talking about poor application and scenario analysis. They say candidates are not able to relate theoretical knowledge to facts. And things are so true. It's so true. Someday some of you you're gonna start marking and you get to see these things and you will laugh and be like, wow, could this have been me some years back, right? So candidates struggle to relate those things. Theoretical knowledge, you've learned the theory, five codes of conduct. What does that mean in this scenario? That's what they're looking for. Can you relate it? Even at this level, they're asking for that. Inability of candidates to be able to cover the syllabus. Audit is intertwined. I understand their topics. I understand that some of you want to read the most. I'll give it to you. See, in this presentation, I have the analysis of past questions, which you're going to see. And some of the times I've seen students just go wrong with those things and oh, these are the five top past questions based on analysis. These are the top five. I'm going to go and study these top five alone, right? Because um these are the top five. If I can get the top five, I don't need the rest. That's wrong. That's wrong. I'm going to share with you the analysis of past question, but my dear, I'm not expecting you to just unpick those topics because it's dangerous. A course like audit, very intertwined. Very intertwined. You cannot even say, I've done chapter 5 and I'm fine. Even if chapter 5 will come out, my dear, it's not fine because they're intertwined. In fact, for AAF, you will see it. If one chapter is talking about substantive tests, so what exactly are you looking out for? 3 chapters talking about substantive testing. What are you talking about? So please, this is not a course you unpick. You don't unpick topic here. This one, you go through everything because they are intertwined. There are things that will require you to talk about the procedures. There are things that require you to talk about audit evidence. There are things that will require you to talk about, ethics in the same context with something else. So you should be able to understand this thing. Another thing they talked about is knowledge mix-up and transposition. Now, what does this mean? There's this thing where candidates transpose solutions between part of a question or confuse similar concepts like, for instance, control activities versus control objectives. Now, what they're saying is if you've gone through the park, for instance, or if you ever, maybe you started your course, for instance, you see when it comes to internal control, we mentioned that, for instance, there's control activities and there's control environment. Yes. Those two things, sometimes I see students mix them up. Oh, control activities, control environment, they're not the same. So that's what they mean by transposition, flipping it upside down and taking this one to be this one and then begin to explain the wrong one. That's what they mean. Now, non-compliance with standards, yes, disregarding the standard, not even mentioning it, even when sometimes the question has even stated it, all you need to just re-mention it before you even give your explanation. So they are complaining to that candidates are not able to do this, efficiently. All right. Okay, so let me move on. Another one is um providing generic or vague answers. Ooh. So what does generic means? Generic means general answers, general, not specific to the situation. Oh, I'll keep using ethics because I believe all of us should be familiar with it. What is the generic answer? Yeah, these are the codes of conduct. These are the ethical code. And you're just saying integrity of it. That's generic. It's tailored to the question. So how can I tailor objectivity to the question? Even though the answer, the ethical issue here is objectivity, right? So I won't just go start writing about objectivity in my answer. No, that's not enough. Yes, objectivity is the ethical issue here. I've identified what it means to be objective. That's fine, but that's not the answer yet. Ability to demonstrate how objectivity, is, how this case, you don't see objectivity in this situation. That's ability. That's what we mean by not giving generic answers. Just generic. No, it's vague because we can't put that in the context. It's not associated to this context, right? So that's what they're saying. Number next is failure to utilize the study materials. Yes, they want us to use it. And for us in Central Bridge, we used it because why are they saying that? They're saying that because that pack is supposed to be a scope. Because there's so many things beyond the pack that you should know in audit. I hope you know that. It's a lot of things. In fact, if you take your ISCs, for instance, it's like a voluminous document, right? But your pack just mentions some of these things. But separately, there's a document of these things, right? So, but the examiner is saying that, okay, we understand that this thing is voluminous. So we've given you a study pack that gives you like a scope of things. Right, so use that first before you begin to add other things that are not in the pack. So the idea is, have you synthesized all the information in your pack before you now begin to add other things? So it's not enough for you to dump your pack, go read every other thing. Understand the pack, but then you can go ahead and read other things. Next is poor presentation and communication skills. I think I've said that, so I'm going to skip that. Not able to write properly, marshalling your point properly. Next is misinterpretation of question requirements. If you know the requirements of the question and just focus, don't be dissuaded by the stories because they're going to be stories. Oh my, oh my. See, how do you know requirements? See, it's simple. After all the plenty story, look for required. You'll see it. It's the last thing. The stories will be a lot. In fact, they will take it to the north, to the south. They will take you how the accountant violated the ethical codes. You've gone through all of that and you know ethical codes. You're already feeling good. Yes, it's time for me to, begin to write these things. But that's not the question, my dear. The question is required. So see that required, you focus on that required. After you've read the case study, that required is the real question. And if the required did not ask you to state the ethical issues, you don't. Because that's not what they're asking you to do. But it then means that in stating the answers to required, you might then need to mention the ethical issues. That's fine. But you don't just then start the answer by saying, oh, from the case study, we noticed that the accountant failed to, and you're talking about ethical codes, and that's not the question. The question says something else. So you focus on the required. That's how to know what to do. So don't let the case study mess you up because it's going to involve a lot of information. Be focused. What am I supposed to do after I read all of the story? What is it required? Is what you're going to be doing. The next is deficiencies in knowledge of standard. Ooh, we said that you should know them. All right. Poor audit risk assessment and procedures. This is key. This is audit now. Anyone in audit in practice, this is audit. This is what auditors do. So if you're going to be getting a pass mark in this course, you should be able to tell what the auditor does in terms of clear audit procedures, clear audit risk issues around whatever question you're given. That's an expectation. And then number next is report and communication weakness. So examiners are complaining that candidates don't have the ability to draft professional, see that word professional, not English. Professional document. What are these documents? I put them, some of them here so you go read them. Memos, management letters, audit reports. Hey, ability to draft this thing, and you need to know them before the exam. You should have drafted a memo before you get to the exam one. You're drafting a memo because now I'm going to show you. Okay, what are the content of a report, or what should be in a report? And then some of you just learn this thing. Oh, a report should have introduction. The exam. I remember that I'm going to go. No, if you've not written it before, it may be difficult to even write one. So it's not just enough to know the parts of a report. It's for you to have written one, and that's what we're going to be doing in our live class. So be prepared. Live classes are not to be missed. This is not, I'm going to chase you. If you miss class, in fact, you write me a letter. Let me just say it to all your members. For any time you're going to miss a class, you have to write me why you will not be able to make it for that class. And I must approve your reason before you just abscond. You must be present for the live classes. All right, so let's move on. So the next thing they also talked about is lack of depth in IT. We've talked about that. Failure to apply theory in practice. We've talked about. So you can see alignment between what the examiners are saying and what the course even tends to what the course expect from us. And the last one, which is important, is in misunderstanding stakeholders' responsibility. Wow, this one is the bane of audit. If you miss this part, you've messed up the auditor's work because this is not the position you should be as a knowledgeable person. The people on the streets, yeah, they misunderstand the responsibilities of auditors and the responsibilities of management. We know that everybody, in fact, even in audit, we call it expectation gap. On the streets, that it is. If you speak to any layman on the street, they don't know there's a difference between what an auditor does and what they think an auditor should be doing. That's two different things. But for you as a professional, you cannot afford to make that blunder. It's like it's an unforgiving blunder. If you do it, it's enough to even get an examiner really, really angry. To say, well, if you can misunderstand this responsibility, I doubt if you're worthy to be given an opportunity to be an accountant this diet. It's like you're messing up something that you should not be messing up. So please understand the responsibilities of management, right? Especially when the questionnaire needs you to speak to that, please. You need to be clear about what the management does. As an accountant, you cannot be the one missing it. And what the auditor should be doing, what the responsibility, according to the law, not according to what you think, and what those that are charged with manage and with governance, what their responsibilities are. And this is important. And in terms of responsibility, in terms of the financial statement. So you need to be able to articulate this, any day, anytime, right? Okay, so we're done with the examiner's lens from AAF and AAAF. All right, so we'll be going to the next one, which is smart examination positioning. Now, this one looks like it's coming too early. Oh, yes, it is. I know you're not writing exams this month, right? So, but I think I should say it now so that somewhere you remember it. So, in case you forget to come back to the slide, you remember, right? So, I'm going to say it anyways. Anyways, all right. So, we're going to get the slides, it's going to be put on the LMS, so you're going to see it and be able to go back to it. But I know when you start reading deeply now, this is not what you want to be looking at for. So that's why I want to say it now so you remember it. Number one, examination position. When I mean examination position, I mean when you get to the examination hall, you need to literally prepare yourself before that day. But once you get to that examination hall, this is how you want to be. This is the position you want to take. Right. Number one, you don't want to confuse this course with financial reporting. It is not. Don't try it. Don't go tell us about standards and begin to analyze standards. Don't waste your time doing that. That's not what we're testing. Even if the question will lead you to do that, the question will deceive you. They will set you up to want to do that. Yes, especially number one question. It is going to set you up to almost want to, because financial reporting is probably something you've done in the last night, or you are doing it even in the current diet. So information is, I didn't know you pay attention to financial reporting more than you would have paid to audit. A lot of people do that. If you ask everybody, how many hours did you spend on audit? How many hours did you spend on financial reporting? You'll notice that they spend more time in financial reporting than in audit, right? So when I mean financial reporting, I mean both FR and SBR, right? So in general, they're both financial reporting, just that SBR is more advanced. Okay. All right. So um you don't cram them. Audit is not something you cram. You don't begin to list them in at the back of your finger. Because see, these things I'm saying to you, I've been there before. I've also fallen victim of some of these things, where we just want to five tips, we have acronyms, which is good, very interesting things, but understand them is what we were saying. Don't just have acronyms. These are the 5 audit procedures, these are the audit evidence, and have acronyms all singing in your head. Beautiful to help you to remember, but is that all? No, you should understand them. So don't cram them. Your answers shall not be written as a story. This one is like a law. I'm saying it to you. It's like thou shalt not write your answer as a story. It is not story time. It is not you telling us the story of what happened. Nah, we're not interested. Don't tell us. The story is already there in the case study. Don't repeat it. You are an engagement partner. You are not a student. You're an auditor. And an auditor where I mean you're the senior auditor, which is an engagement partner. You're the number one person, you're the one, that is charged with that responsibility, of writing the auditor's report. So for instance, when examining a case study, don't ask what topic is this. That, like I said, you can't be unpicking topics. No, this is not a course to unpick topics. You want to stand from a point of view of a professional, I've understood a lot, and then you're coming from that level. you want to see risk everywhere. And I'm saying this more to professional student. You want to see risk everywhere, right? So I said here, if you're not, I'm worried. What are you doing if you're not seeing risk? Don't you know they want to set you up? You should know they are setting you up. That's why you're an auditor, because in real life, management would mess up and want to lie and cover up. And the auditor's job is to uncover some things by identifying. I'm not saying that's a responsibility by law now. I'm saying as an auditor, you're going there to try to, you want to give an opinion on whether this financial statement gives a true and fair view. If there are any form of material misstatement, that is that you want to put your word to that. So do you think management want to do it? Especially when it's not. When it's not, they want to. So are they going to lie clearly in your face? No. How are they going to put it very subtle, very nice, not looking like it's a lie, not looking like there's a problem? So as an auditor, you are writing this exam, you want to see that even before you begin to read management's words. You want to see risk everywhere you're reading. Especially, I'm speaking this one, if you're writing advanced audit and assurance and forensic, this one, very important. It's very key in your syllabus. Very. So you want to see risk everywhere. Your brain should scream when you see certain things. So it's not going to come in as a problem. So don't expect them to say they messed up. No, don't. It won't come that way. It comes subtly, oh, revenue increased by 85%. But in the preceding paragraph, they've identified that times are bad, recession, the organization is going through a lot, just as the economy is going through a lot. Like the organization is just mirroring the economy. So they said that in the preceding paragraph at the beginning, and then they come at the end and they tell you revenue increased by 85%. Can't you see that's nobody's, if you're not skeptical, you can't tell there's a link between those two things. Because you're an advanced auditor, right? You should know, why are we having an increase in 5% in revenue when we have indicated that we're in a recession and the company is also going through the same thing as the economy is going through? You see, nobody's going to put those two things side by side. So that's the issue. It's going to be put side by side. It's going to be scattered. And it's going to be said so calmly. You're not going to identify it by use of adjectives. They won't use those adjectives that will make you know that's what they're saying. But you should know that's what we're saying. Why is the CFO also the head of procurement? Subtly, it's going to be written. They're not going to be put side by side, mind you. They won't tell you that the CFO is the head of. No, they'll just tell you, Alabi leads the team of procurement or approves, or it's just come in a way. They don't, it might not mean it was head of procurement. They'll just tell you he leads, he's in charge, he's da, and then it comes to say he is the chief financial officer. Ah, why? That's already internal control breaches already. Why is there no segregation of duties? So you see, you've learned the theoretical words internal control breaches. You learned segregation of duty as one of them, but are you able to bring that to situation? I hear what I'm saying. So can you bring the fact that the CFO is also the head of procurement? Is that not a breach? That's what he wants you to identify. That's why it's audit. It is not financial reporting. You're not supposed to talk about revenue, IS, revenue recognition. Nobody wants that. Why are there urgent adjustments at year end? It should matter to you. Why are they just not adjusting event? Not, that's not the IS they're telling you to come and expatiate. Why are they making such adjustment? That's the question. Why does inventory stays in the warehouse when no one can access it? So, very subtle. These are just examples, right, of subtle things that you should be looking out for. Structure your answer like a professional. How do you do that? Somewhere in your back of your head, like I said, you're spotting there's a problem. Always be looking for risk. Like there's risk here. Just be. It's like you're working. You're working in a place where there are thorns in the field. You're working in it. Maybe you're working on a lawn, and there are thorns on the lawn. How do you move? Let's assume you're walking barefooted. you want to be aware where you're stepping in. You're not just dumping your leg and just moving. You are moving with care, and that's what you're doing. So spot the issue. So somewhere tell yourself, okay, I'm going to be able to spot the issue here in this case. I want to understand why that issue is wrong. I want to be able to understand, explain the implication of that and what recommendations should be in the line of the question and in line with the standard, the principles, the law, and everything else I've learned in audit. And that's how you want to attack this. Know your standards, but don't vomit them. Like I said, it's not enough to say ISS if 200 said in this course, that's not what we're looking out for. It's not just ability to mention the IS, ability to identify how this issue, how this thing has kind of violated the rules in IS, in ISA. How is this issue contradicting? That's what we're looking for. So when you are measuring the standard, is a good plus in addition to identifying the issue, but you can't just start, just finish and stay by just mentioning the standard. All right. So other than saying according to the standards say there's this creates a self-review trend because the firm prepared financial statement is not auditing them in alliance with can up with ISA, da da da. It's that kind of thing, right? So that's what we mean. I don't just vomit. Oh, sorry, I didn't move you to the next slide. Sorry. Don't vomit them, apply the standard. All right. So the next one, look for threats. I already said that ethical issues will always show up. So look for it. There are always going to be red flags. Do look for it. That's why the red flag. You have to find it. You should be looking for it. All right. So another thing, yes, another thing is be suspicious. I said that already. Professional skepticism, yes. Don't accept management's explanation at face value. So when management says the estimate is reasonable, because they will use, like I said, it's going to be calm words to be used. It will be said in a way that you can spot there's a problem. Oh, the estimate is reasonable. You are the auditor. Remember, you're not part of that firm. You are not to stamp the management's assertions. That's not what you've come to do. No, you are here to represent the shareholders in a way by giving a verdict on what you found in terms of financial statement. You an opinion. What's your opinion based on the audit evidence you gathered, based on the audit procedures you used to gather this audit evidence? What do you come to terms with as your final answer to these things? So always understand that thing. So you're not supposed to just align with management. No, that's not your responsibility. All right. So your brief should reply based on what assumptions. Is there any bias? Is there fraud risk? What evidence supports this issue? So management is not just telling you it's a reasonable estimate. Okay, yes, I agree, it's a reasonable estimate. Where are your evidence? How did you come about those estimates? So you see, it's not financial reporting. You're not acting as like an auditor. What are the audit evidence that were obtained, for you to validate that reasonable, estimate assertion that they made? So those are the things you're looking out for. So, how to write a report, a formal, just the typical format of what a report should be. But of course, like we said, there are different types of reports. There's audit report, there's letter of representation, there's manual letter. There's so many. So, right. So there are different ways these things are written. But generally, if you're going to be writing a report, this is what you're looking out for: from to subject date, introduction, answering the requirements, conclusion, and signature, right? So what this, especially when you get to introduction, there must be an introduction, definitely, and you must be able to have another session. And when we write reports, like if you were typing a report, remember that you're going to have subsections and sections, right? You're going to have 2.1, 2.11, right? So when you're writing, so you want to bring that to the fore, right? So you don't just write long paragraphs. You want to be able to put like, okay, this is section 2.1, give it an heading, bolding it. How do you bolding it? You can underline in your examination paper, just underline, or leave a space to say that I'm done with this paragraph, or I'm done with this issue, I'm going to this issue. Just those kind of things matter because you could have the best set of answers and it's modeled up and the examiners cannot even understand it. They can't read it and they can't award you marks. Then you have your conclusion, of course, you sign off the report. Now, other things you need to know in the exam. When question one looks like he's doing itself, what you do, you keep moving. Yeah, keep it moving. You keep moving. That is, you move to question two. You don't stay there. You've done 30 minutes in question one. You've done 45 minutes. What are you still doing there? Leave it. Move on. I'm going to show you how to allocate your time, right? I'm going to show you. So you've done 45 minutes in question one and it's still proving you've not even moved in any way. My dear, move on to the next question two. Because spending 2 hours in question one cannot give you anything more than 30 marks. So why would you want to stay? And 30 marks is not pass marks. So why would you want to be there? So keep it moving. Regardless, take to earn pieces of marks, yes. Audit, you might have A, B, C, D, E, F. So when you have B, you know C, you know D, you don't know A. Don't let the fact that you don't know A not make you move on to B. As long as you identify that this is the question you want to answer, I want to answer question number 4, then move on. You don't know A, but you know B, write B. Yes, write C, write D. You don't know F, move on, write G. That's how to do it. Don't say because you don't know A, you're waiting for the answers to fall before you move on. No, keep moving on. The truth is, sometimes while you're writing, A will come. All right. So, and because the hand of God is upon you, you won't go blank out. You will remember everything. All right. So, unpack, break down into parts. So, unpack means break them down, right? Break them down. Just, your answers, don't put them together in a way that nobody even knows which one is speaking to what. Break them down. So, read the questions actively, write out and map out the requirements in the booklets rather than on the line. Like I said, what is the requirements? Identify go as you're reading the case study, identify those things. Just map it there. So when you're writing, you can specifically mention those things as is indicated. Then, of course, make sure you stick to the time allocated for the different questions. So I'm going to go to that next now. So you're going to see the allocation of time. All right. So let me quickly take that and I'll come back to this one. So what is the time allocation, right? So this is how it works. So we have section A, which is 30 marks. It's compulsory. Um, you could combine so many topics, so please don't always pick any topic. Then we have section B, 20 marks sections, which you are required to answer 3 questions. Um, I'm sorry, 2 questions out of 3. Question C, you also need to answer 2 out of 3, and it's 15 marks. All right. So you can see question A, number 1, makes sense why people get stuck there because 30 marks is a lot, right? Okay, but how do you want to allocate your time? So I put up the time here, so you can see that for question, if you're going to share your 3 hours 15 minutes, your 3 hours 15 minutes, that's 3 times 60, you give you 180 plus 15 minutes, that's 190, all right? So if you share it amongst, that is, if I do 30 over, 30 over 100 times 195, basically that's how I got about this, right? So for question 1, I have a maximum of 58.5 minutes. So what is your target? You can't be targeting to spend the entire 58 minutes because sometimes some things will come up. You might just need to update what you've written before. So I put a target time of 50 minutes. And if you're so good, you can even reduce it to like 45, right? But just work within what you think will work for you. But please don't spend more than this time. Once you even spend 58 minutes, just get out. Get out. In fact, at 50 minutes, you'll be out. But if something is still tying you there, hmm? If for any reason you are tied down there, at 58 minutes, get out. You're not done, I know. Just get out first. When you come back, your mind will be all right. All right. So just get out of the question. Then number 2, you have 39 minutes. So what do you do? 39 minutes per question. So I gave you 30 minutes. So once you do 30 minutes, like this one will not hold you stuck like question A, right? But it will still hold you a bit more, like unlike section C. All right. So, but what you should do is once you've done 30 minutes or less, get out of it. But that may not even be your issue here. The issue here may not even be that time because question 1 is that one that that gets time out. Question section B might not be that kind of question that will mess your time up, right? But what it can do is you might want to be elaborating too much that you then waste time. All right. So you get the point too. You're now because the answers are flowing, then there's a way you just want to be elaborating, and especially because you're coming from question 1 that has kind of toppled you a bit, and you're like, okay, I want to give my best in question 2, that kind of thing. Then section C, there's 15 marks there, so 20 minutes maximum. So you have 9 minutes maximum, but plan yourself in 20 minutes, you should be done. So this one is where you want to just quickly these ones are always easier if you read, right? So just want to quickly put out your words fast and not waste too much time on that. So that at least when you do everything in 150 minutes, so if you add all of these things, give you 150 minutes, you still have 45 minutes extra, right? To then go and tighten things up properly, underline where you should underline, align where you should align, fill up spaces and all of those things. So you have 45 minutes. But you can change this as long as it suits you, but always be aware that this is the maximum amount of minutes that is designed for it. All right, is designed for it. So that's how we do it, in academics. This is the maximum number of minutes designed for it. So anything getting you more than that, it means you need to get out of there. Okay, so now let me take you back to yes, I skipped this part because I wanted to finish the examination issue. Now let's talk about past question analysis, but please treat this with care. Don't jump. I know a lot of students like this, right? But because we are starting early, everyone on this call, you guys are all starting early, right? So you're not going to fall victim of what should I be reading now because I don't have time, right? So it's when people don't have time. Let me speak to you as a coach. Is when you don't have it, you don't have time. So if you ever see me advise anybody, go and read this topic. See, this is when we do that. When somebody comes in 3 weeks to the exam, I've not read anything, and I need to write this exam in November. What should I be reading? And the timing, we know that there's no way you can finish everything in the park. Like, even if you start and you don't sleep, it's not possible. That is when we then say, okay, you know what? Because you're starting so late, these are the topics you should in your life not do without me. These are the topics that you should ensure you read. Don't even sleep if you don't read them, that kind of thing. Or don't even appear in that examination or if you're not ready for them. That's when we advise that. But because I know that last minute thing doesn't favor everybody. It's like you're gambling. I've seen it. Students that come in last minute, they always it's like a gamble. Sometimes some people pass. Yes, I can agree with you, they pass sometimes. But is that what I'm going to put my life on a chance when I can be better prepared and get the best out of my life? So I'll prefer to be on the better prepared part than to put my life on a gamble. Remember that it's not the money, right? For ICAN. For some of us, money is not a problem. So money is not even the issue. It's the time. Somebody's going to delay me by another 6 months. Why will I want to gamble my six months, one year, just like that? So no, no, no. I need to get this thing move on. My CFO job is waiting, and I'm gambling here with ICAN. My next promotion, is waiting. I have students that their promotion is dependent on them being chartered. So there's no time. I need the organization wait. After many years, they're not seeing anything. I just want to replace them or get somebody else to fill up this position. Why would you want to do that? Right. So I'm happy. Everyone on this call, if you're enrolled for this class, you must finish this course. Let me even put up the trick here. Say I'm gonna make you, for those in AAF, the goal is you're gonna finish this course in 1 month. Listen to me. I'm gonna be reeling out how the order in which we were going, right? But in 1 month, you're gonna finish AAF. That's the goal. That's the goal. For those in AAF too, the goal is still 1 month, right? Think about it. Look at the topics. AF has just 15 topics. My dear, if you read one topic in a day, bah, 15 days, you are done. So me giving you 1 month is luxury, right? Luxury. But why am I giving you 1 month? Because I know you're probably doing other courses, FM, FR, okay. Because there, so I'm going to force you to do it in the number of times, in the number of weeks, I designed it for. So it's in the midst of, okay, I'm writing 4 papers, I'm writing 5, okay, say, okay, you should do this one in 1 month, do this one. So that's the discipline I'm pushing everyone. So please, right, like I said, just listen to me and do what I'm saying and do it, right? Just listen and do. Please. I know it's virtual, but I'm in your room right now. I'm watching you. Just be seeing me that my coach will not allow me rest. She's watching me. She's with me here. I can't mess up. See, this result is very important to me. Very, right? So, because I need you to move on with your life, I need you to move to the next big thing. A lot of you are going to be CFOs. You're going to be key guys in core organizations. You need to move fast. You need to move fast. So, please, that's how we're moving. So, look at the past question. So, you can tell that the one with the highest weight is chapter number 1. Is that not surprising to you? 16%. This is not me. This is what past question says. This is not me saying this is what I'm thinking. This is what past question says. But now, does that mean that I only read chapter one alone? No. So now that sometimes people just don't seriously joke because it looks simple, right? So then the next one is chapter 6, audit evidence and sampling. Oh, whooping 14% times it had occurred. But remember that when it comes to examinations, for the fact that something had occurred 14% of the time doesn't guarantee that in the paper you're going to be writing, the dice you're going to write, it's going to come out. I don't know if you know what I'm saying. It's not like there's a guarantee. This is talking about in volume in the past years. This is where we had been, but does not necessarily mean that in the examination diet you are going to write. So that's why you don't gamble, you just study everything because you don't unpick questions, you don't unpick topics, you don't unpick chapters. Examiner does that. You don't know what they're doing. So why would you want to gamble? And the next one is ethics and independence, 12%. So if you want to look at the double digits, basically, right? So let's look at the double digits, then we have this one. So these are the four double digits. But am I going to advise you ever in my life to say, go read chapter 1, 2, 6, and 13? Never. I will never do that because that's failure. Because if you do that, it's risky because some of these topics you ignored here, we will need them to answer some of these other topics. I'm telling you, it's not like one topic per question. It can flow anywhere, right? It can flow anywhere. The next analysis I'm going to do now is to not just tell you the number of times, it's to tell you, the amount of marks, because that's where you people should be looking out for now. Just times. Okay, something that occurs, it's 4 times, but what's the mark? Right? Something occurred 3 times, like this one now, 1%. But what is the amount, well, what is the marks allocated to that time, those 3 times you occurred? I don't know if you get what I'm saying. So I've shown you times, but I've not shown you marks. And that is what matters, right? So, and you look at it, 71, this one now, 14%. But the question is, how many marks? Right? I'm not saying a lot of marks were not allocated to it. A lot, yeah. But how many marks? All right. So in the thing we'll be sharing, you're gonna see the weight of the topics, right? It's even in your pack, right? The weight of we've written it out so it's easier for you to just look through the weight of the topics. So you know that topic one has this weight, and of course, the higher the weight, the higher the marks. I hope you get what I'm saying. So please don't take this information and then pick first 10 and be reading. No, don't do that. It won't help you. But this is for you to understand what had been, right? Okay, so let's move to the next one. AAF. Which ones have the highest scores? If you look at it, we have this one, 10%. Audit evidence, reporting, you see? Oh, sorry, technology is the highest. Aha, application of information tech, highest. I said it. We are going to go beyond just the park because what is going on now in IT that's 2025 park did not include, you have to know it. The whole 12%. Then we have reporting, which is key. We have audit evidence is key. But can you read them in isolation? Nope. Because they don't work like that. All right, they don't work like that. So those are your key topics. Key topics. And now let me also mention something. There are some assumptions they make. Now, if you look at professional and ethical issues, just 7%, right? What is the assumption? In skills, you should have done that. And in skills, when we check ethics, 12%. Can you see? It was part of the top five. It's 12%. So that means that knowledge should have been brought in when you go to AAF. So you having it 7% does not mean it's dismissible. It means that we expect you to have had that knowledge. So whenever we ask questions around any other thing that you might need to speak to that, then you better bring that on board. All right. So these topics, let me also tell you the methodology of this analysis. The methodology is not just that one question only, went ahead and just talked about it and assurance. No, what it means, the major part of the question, right, talked about that, and so we classified it under that, the major part, because the question talks about so many things. Sometimes the question talks about 10 topics. All right, so the one that is major is where we classify it. So that's the methodology, so you know that. So this is for AAF. So like I said, in a month, we're going to be done with audits. 1 month too much. We're going to be done. So just follow me. In a month, we'll be done with audits. And that's the goal. We are agreed? Agreed. Thank you. So we move on. So I've talked about this one already. Yes, the Scepter Bridge specialty. What are we doing this time around to help you to succeed? To God be the glory. We're doing great things. Every year, every diet, we keep improving, adding things that will move you forward as students and make you achieve your goal. And you know the beautiful thing about what we do here is not just, and I'm not just one saying it. I've asked students. I don't know if some of them are even on the call. If they, I don't want to mention anybody's name, but if they are willing to share their testimony, they will. All right. So for those that moved to the next level, that are currently here. Now, what we do is the mindset of teaching is not just for you to pass ICAN, though that is number one. You have to pass the exam. But beyond passing the exams, in addition to you passing the exam, we want you to understand these things and begin to apply them. You see, when people say certification does not change doesn't change their life. You know why it doesn't change their life? Because they just pass. They never really study to know. They just study to pass. And of course, it won't change their life because once they have the paper certification and they get the promotion, there's no guarantee they can retain the job because they have certificate, but they don't have what it takes. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. I'm telling you, even though ICAN is highly theoretical, what I mean theoretical here, I mean ICAN is a course where you write exams, right? Even as much as it's not like you're in a real life situation, if you understand this thing, it's going to help in your real life work. I can tell you that one hands down. And thank God, because that was how we designed the step to bridge thing. So if you go through those that went through the self-paced course, you can see it's a there's a depth of understanding. We want you to understand rather than you just passing, right? I can teach you to pass alone. But of what good is that to you if you cannot? Because the goal is not just to be a chartered accountant, it's to be a chartered accountant and be anything else you want to be in your life. That's the goal, right? So we had one of our students, that publicly shared his own testimony that said he didn't even write the exam because he felt sick classes, but he didn't write the exam because he felt sick. And he got a big job. In fact, the job he's currently doing that takes him everywhere in the world, everywhere in no, beyond Nigeria. Anyway, he travels out of Nigeria now. So I don't want to say in the world because okay, in the world too, because it's beyond just Nigeria. That same job that took him that it was the interview. He said the interview was so good that everything he learned in the class, right? It was FR then, it was an FR class that he took classes, and the interview questions were, relating to those things. Those were the things that wowed them and then gave them the job. The guy now travels everywhere just because he didn't write ICAN. Can you see? So it's not about writing to pass. He went through the course, painstakingly listened to all the classes, and then went ahead, got a better job that now gave him the kind of life he wants. That's the point of being chartered, right? To be able to use it as an exchange for the next big thing in your life. All right. So it's not just to have the paper certificate and then everybody say ACA, FCA, that who cares about that? I believe to use that to move you forward. All right. So for us in the educational institution or industry, our job is to get you to that place, right? That is my own job, and that's what I want to do. All right. Okay. So we have that. So we have a learning management system that helps us very well. A lot of you have seen it already. Helps you go through your self-paced course. You see it. It tracks your progress. You get to see, and also our live classes will be uploaded there. So when we start having the live classes, the content of those videos, everything in the live classes will just dump it there too. So you get to see it. So you also get to know how many have you missed, how many, for those that will probably miss anyone, you can see, right? And you can know, oh, what I need to do, because your percentage of completion, you're seeing it. How can I do better? Then we have a strong accountability system because I follow up my students. I will call you. Some of you see me, I message you. I'm going to be doing that, right? If I don't see you, if I'm not seeing anything that looks like you're moving forward, I'm going to disturb you. So please expect me. If you don't want me to disturb you, please just do everything we're doing correctly and be fine, right? I won't disturb you. But if you're not, I'll have to disturb you, right? So we're going to teach with of course, we teach with the mindset of connectedness. We have lecture slides that helps you it's comprehensive at the same time, it is summarized. Yes, I try to leave important things that you need to know, not just like a snapshot revision note. No, it's beyond that. It's comprehensive and it's still summarized, easy to read and understand notes. I know people that don't read the pack and they are fine with the lecture slides, right? I know people that lecture slides is more important to them because for them it helps them recall everything they've read, everything. So please, we have that. Take note of that. Okay. And then we introduced something great, which is an ICAN Warrior app. And now I'm saying this because this app is going to be it's going to be your game changer, right? And I'm going to be introducing someone very special to help us, to navigate us through this app. But before then, let me go through the other things you get on the September platform. But this one, we're going to take our time to understand how this app work. So none of you have seen it, all right, in terms of you've not, so we're going to be launching that and you're going to be having, more information on that. Before then, I wanted to understand that we teach using interactive smart screen. So we write, so you get to see for some of us that haven't probably taken any of our courses, this is how you're going to see how we're going to display the screen and you're going to see us write, just like I'm writing. So it's like you're in a physical class with a whiteboard in front of you. So that's exactly what we're doing. So we're not just reading through slides. Nope. We write, we walk, we use notes, we use like lines notes, like um notes where you get to see writings and all. Not just the slides, we have notes, you get to see how we write, like a book, basically. And then we prepare you for examination. Please appear, just be there. Um, the classes are expertly handled, and of course, the timing for the class is kind of convenient. In it is 8 p.m. Sorry, this is p.m. 8 p.m. Every Thursdays and Fridays, and on Saturdays is in the morning, and you have full access to class materials. Once you enroll, you have access to everything in terms of the lecture notes and the materials. And if there are updates on some videos, we're going to be having updates, we're going to be dropping them. Some you'll just see, you're going to have access up front. So it's not like you're waiting. So some of you are already like fast. I know someone that's on 29% already. So that person is already like way ahead. So you have that upfront because we know that we have different times, different schedules. So you want to work with what will work for you to succeed. All right. So then there's video solutions for exam questions. We don't just teach, you're going to be having questions solved to the point that you would almost see that we've almost solved all the questions for every topic. So we're going to have that topic coverage, comprehensive topic coverage, accountability system in place. These are the other courses we have aside from AAF. We have these ones. We have financial management, financial reporting, SBR, SFM, we have them. And then, of course, we have our good reports, what God has been doing at Scepter Bridge, testimonials of persons that have, and this is just for this last slide, though some report had come in after the video, this was put together, but we couldn't add them there because they came in late. So some reporters even still coming in. Some of our students are just responding. So, but this is just like an idea of the kind of reports we've had in the last, in the last diet. So the next thing now is the ICAN Warrior app. All right. So this is dropped already, so let me just pause on that so that we get to the chase. And this time around, we're researchers, we're not just academics, right? We're also researchers, and we understand what it takes when students learn online. Now, Scepter Bridge ICAN classes done online, and we understand that an online class is unique. It has a lot of advantages, and because we're researchers, we also pay a lot of attention to getting students get the best of an online system, right? So of a virtual system. And we also understand that when it comes to writing ICANN examinations or any examination and that you need a very sound accountability system, something that reminds you, something that helps you progress. And based on our experience, right? So we understood how important this is. And that's why the ICAN Warrior Hub was developed. And I will not take credit for this app because I have someone special that helped put this together. And this was put together from years of research. So he has done other researches, done other works that help students to excel academically. In fact, we call him, for all of us are aware, I know some people already know what I'm talking about. We call him the mindset shifter. He, literally helps students move from a no class to a first class. I'm telling you from experience. So this entire thing was put together. This entire app was put together to put you in the front, in the very front of how you're going to succeed in an exam, in the ICAN examinations. He has done other things, Apex, which is academic performance excellence for students. He has done a lot. So I think it's even a privilege to have him come here. It took a lot to make him come here, and I'm really glad he's able to do that. The Scepter Bridge app you see, the platform, the LMS, was also designed by him. So the person I'm talking about is Dr. Azubi Kezenwoke, is my husband, and he's right here with us to give us please, I need you guys to give him a lot of emojis because there's a lot to get him to come. Um, Yes, please. I need you guys to clap as it comes. Thank you very much, Oluwaseun. Thank you. Please clap. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for the love. It's gonna run us through because it's better he explains how this thing works, not me. So because it's coming from research, from experience, from coaching, and from a depth that he is the best person to explain how this thing works. So it's an honor. Please, with a warm welcome, honor Dr. Azubike. Okay. Thank you so much, sir. You have the floor, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Wow, wow, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I hope I'm audible. Please, if I'm audible, just respond with an emoji. Um, awesome. Thank you. Well, I listened in, many of the points that were made. I want to thank Dr. Motola for that very wonderful presentation. Yeah, and but let me just mention this too. If there's something that I know about her is her passion for her students. I mean, over the years, even that same passion would actually, is also evident even in this presentation tonight. Yeah, so let's just, go straight to the app. Yeah, so the idea behind this is, I mean, we've thought about, and these are also things we've, discussed, things that we have tested out, things that we have, seen play out even with our on-ground students and also some online students that we've had to follow up. Um, and something that we realize is that a lot of individuals don't have intelligence problem. Intelligence is not a problem, right? And over my own experience, I tell students that um, academic excellence is not a function of intelligence as much as it is a function of diligence. So it's not that people are not intelligent. I mean, we are very intelligent people. Many of us have done great things in our careers, in our lives. But why is it that when it comes to academic excellence, it's as though persons are not able to pull through? So it's not intelligence. So it's not an intelligence problem. Diligence, not that they're lazy, but most times a lot of persons can't actually follow through. Um, so the idea behind this app really is to, I mean, the name, I mean, I want to credit her for the name, ICAN Warrior. And the idea is that individuals are treating this phase of their career as war, right? And we try to use all the war metaphor in order to drive this. So it's called the ICAN Warrior app. As you can see in the hero here, it says train like a warrior and pass like one. So the idea here is to combine accountability, coaching, and also giving you some type of what do you call it now, some type of um, you have like a progression. You can actually see your progress over time, right? I am aware that the next diet for this is coming up in November, and we are just in July, and there's so much to cover. I overheard her talking about finishing a particular course in a month. That's very possible. So what this app basically, would do, number one is if you are enrolled into probably enrolled into any of those courses, then it has been preset with all the topics for the particular course. It has also been preset with all of the past questions. I think about 20 years, I'm not sure now, it's about 20 years, you can correct me if I'm wrong, from 2004, I can't remember now, please correct me if I'm wrong.
14.
All of the 2014, good. Now,
Yeah.
over 14 years, is that what you're saying?
Not 14 till now. So that's
Okay, till now, okay. That'll be about
that's
12
about
years
12,
thereabouts.
12 years, yeah.
Good. Yeah, so we have about 12 years of past questions, already preloaded into the app. So what that means is that every day when you log into the app, it gives you what you call your daily mission. Your daily mission is that the things you're supposed to study for that day and all of the past questions you should do based on the topics you're studying for the day. So those are the tasks for the day. So every day you have a daily set of tasks you're supposed to accomplish. Those are your daily mission, the things you're supposed to do. Now, once you complete that for that day, your streak, is actually activated. You can see, oh, you are making progress. And there's what they call the readiness ring. The readiness ring is what you are seeing right here, right now. Um, this sample you are seeing here, 42% ready. Okay, so that's what you're going to be seeing for every course. There's your overall readiness ring. Readiness ring is if you have more than one course or more than two courses that you're taking or that you are tracking using this app. You have an overall score showing you your readiness for that particular diet. Now, for the individual courses, you'll also see your readiness for those courses. For example, just like what you're seeing on your screen now, this person has financial reporting. Today, there's revenue recognition. There are 5 questions the person should answer today based on this particular, daily mission, and 47 days to exam. Once you click on Start Focus Session, you're going to be seeing all of those, things you're supposed to read. So you go to the LMS, you study, you pick the courses, then you can come back and now do the past question. So the past question, to tell you what year, what diet, what question, either A or B, whatever, that you have to go and solve. So you solve that particular question, and once you check that and it's done, that is recorded. Now, if for any reason you are unable to complete, the mission for the day, what happens is that um, you actually, it gets carried over to tomorrow. So the idea is that your workload keeps increasing or reducing based on how you are completing the task. So if you have, for example, you have about five past questions per day to complete, and you are unable to complete, maybe you do 3 out of 5. Tomorrow is going to increase, it's going to redistribute the weight across the remaining days towards exam. It means, you have, more questions to do tomorrow, not completely, but at least not that you're going to have more to tomorrow. It's going to redistribute the entire weight all through, until you get to the exam day itself. All right. And once you've done that, once that has been done, once you complete, there's also the leaderboard. Leaderboard here means, everybody that is enrolled on the app, you'll be seeing who is doing great stuff. This person is already 8% ahead of you, 10% ahead of you, 20% ahead of you. At least that, should add, some bit of fire to your tail that, hey, people are actually, working and they're moving ahead. And that also gives you a bit, of positive pressure now. Then we also added the accountability, part to it. Because one thing I've also known is that some persons by themselves might not be able to get through. So the accountability part of this is that, you're going to supply an email of someone in your life who you think, you want them to hold you accountable. It might be a spouse, it might be a boss, it might be a pastor, it might be your parent, it might be your elder sibling or someone. So what it means is that when you complete your task every day, they get a notification that this individual had 10 tasks today and they're able to complete the entire 10 tasks, right? But on the days you don't complete your task, you also get that notification that, hey, you did not complete what you're supposed to do. So they might follow with a phone call or, just encourage you. But the idea is that you're not just doing this secretly on your own. You are actually, working within a community. And of course, we added the component of the coaching now. So daily, like I said, your coach has been very wonderful. Daily there will be several coaching snippets that is being passed across in various form. You have audio, video, whatever other form, the coach decides to actually reach out to everyone. And those are things that you get to listen to or watch or read every single day, as, this exam preparation, progresses, right? So we are combining, your daily mission, things you're supposed to be doing every day. We are combining your um, past questions you're supposed to complete every day. We are combining your accountability, you being able to, people holding you accountable. We are combining a leaderboard. You see, where you rank in terms of preparedness towards the examination. We're also combining the coaching element of it, where individuals could actually, you have a coach who is always, going after you, ensuring that you are doing what you are doing. So that's like the, not the nutshell of the app. Yeah, so that's like the nutshell of the app, right? And so once you enroll, for now we are perfecting, everything has been perfected. What we have just created now is a wait list, right? For you to enroll on the app. I'm sure more information as regards, what that means. But for now, we have a wait list up. I think the wait list is what is showing right now on the screen, as you can see. You can even test it right now. Go to icanwarrior.versal.app/waitlist. Or maybe you can drop that also on the chat for you to click and just visit, that particular waitlist and just register your interest, and we'll just take it up. I'm not able to do a demo now because I think I'm having some bit of constraint from my end. But I'm sure once we get into the app, more information will be, passed across and will be able to, get us through. So I'll take any question you may have, if there are questions.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so can we get questions for Dr. Azuke before he leaves us? Then we'll then take our own questions. All right. Thank you. Go ahead, Sean. Thank you.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Doctor. So I wanted to ask, I've been playing around the ICAN Warrior websites for a couple of minutes now, but I wanted to know what's like the indicative pricing structure. Is it free, or there's going to be a pricing structure attached to it?
Okay, thank you. Okay,
Okay, so
okay, I think that,
yeah, go ahead.
okay, sorry, let me just answer that. So Sean, yes, for all enrolled members, it's free. So for all of you enrolled, for persons that are not enrolled, people that probably want to just read on their own or something, or whatever it is, then they will have to pay, for that. But for enrolled members, you don't need to bother, it's part of your package. Yeah. Are there more
Fantastic.
questions? You're welcome. More questions for Dr. Zvike before he leaves, before our normal counting question. Okay. All right. Priska, I'm so sorry. Your hands are raised. Go ahead, please. Is it for Dr. Zvike? Priska, she's not responding. Okay. Yes, Ololade, go ahead, please. Ololade, go ahead, please.
Okay, I just wanna. Can you hear me, ma? Hello.
Very well. Very well. Very well.
Okay. All right. I believe that the ICAN Warrior presented today is more. Is it encompassing beyond the cost that is being taken on the LMX, or just strictly for the cost within the LMS? So what I'm saying is that for professional, is it just SBR,
Okay.
AAAF, and SFM?
Okay.
Is that just what is covered, or it extends to case study and taxation, advanced taxation? So why I'm asking this question is especially because of the accountability part. My question is because for someone who is writing the entire 5, maybe the first response would, because if I'm also studying for the other 2, definitely meeting my daily target might be a bit of struggle if it's just the 3 that is focused on. Yeah, I think I'm just
Thank
speaking
you.
for myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Thank
need
you.
to also pay attention to the other 2.
Yeah, I get it. I get you. I get you. That's why it's an icon warrior up.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Azuike.
Yeah, so well, we that's the intention really. The intention is to cover every course possible, but we're going to be incremental with the uploads, right? So I think starting now, because we want to be able to get everybody based on your coach. I mean, when we had a discussion earlier today, she said she wanted to get everybody at least that are currently enrolled in the current program, to be on. So priority will be for the courses that the September LMS carries for now. But not before long, I'm sure very soon we'll be able to cover all the courses. Now, even if you check the wait list, you can see that the wait list right now has even ATS, right? So that's the thinking. So every aspect of ICAN, which was an ICAN Warrior app, so supposed to be all encompassing for every course at every level, foundation, skills or professional, or even ATS, right? So, but priority will be given to what we carry, and hopefully before long, maybe by next month latest, to be able to carry on every other course that I can take.
Thank you, sir. Any more questions?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. David, is that Davis? Yes, your hands are raised.
Yes, good evening.
Good
Thank you very
evening.
much for this session. I checked the app, and one of the things that is there is how much would you be willing to pay? And you just mentioned now that it is free for those who have enrolled for the course. So I'm just wondering, if
Yeah.
you want to join the wait list, what do you feel in that
Okay.
box?
Okay. Yeah. So I think this app is actually not just limited to persons who are probably enrolled in SEPTA Bridge. The goal is to make it universal, right? So any ICANN person, even if you're enrolled in SEPTA Bridge or not, you can actually get to use the app. But the good thing there is that your coach is saying, this should be free for everybody who enrolled in the course. So that's why, bringing it to this point. Yeah, so that's also a way to also gather data to see, what value people will be willing to place on this. So it doesn't matter whatever I think is worth. Or you already have a commitment that everyone that's enrolled in the sub-average LMS for whatever course they are doing will actually have access to this app, for free. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that
Any
okay?
other? Okay. Yeah. Any
Okay.
other question? Any other question? Okay. No other one. Okay.
Okay.
Thank
All
you
right.
so
So
much, sir.
thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Thank you too. Thank you very much. We're grateful. Okay, let's get back to class. Audits. So can we get questions now for audits? Thank you. Yes. Olade is clapping. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes. So let's get to class based on the presentation, right? So what are yes, thank you. Thank you, Davis. Yes. Can I get questions? Okay, go ahead, Olade. Yes, I see your hand.
All right. So yeah, thank you very much, ma. It's been an insightful, right? I think my question is basically, so for me, I got an exemption for AAF, so I didn't do audits and skills, right? And tax. So I'm worried, right? I'm worried because I know that I'm not practicing in this space, right? I'm not practicing. I'm not currently practicing as an auditor. I'm not practicing as a tax consultant. So I'm a bit nervous, right? And that's my situation at this time, because I know that foundational knowledge are key. So I'm just looking for someone like me. What would be your advice, right? Looking at these two, especially, I'm worried not just for audit. I'm worried for the audit and tax.
Yes. Okay, yes. So what would be my advice? Okay, because you're enrolled. So I feel like you'll be fine because see what we're doing. The self-paced course granular, takes you to. I don't know if you've started. Have you started the self-paced course? Let me get. Have you?
No, I'm here to start. I'm here to start. I'm meant
Okay,
to
you're yet to
start
start. Okay.
over the
So
weekend.
okay, so it's not making any assumption that you've taken the course before. So it's kind of granular. It takes you from point zero to point whatever. But then the live classes, that's the beautiful thing. That's why you can't afford to miss the live classes. So if you notice the timetable, we kind of merged audits A and A as A and AAF, right? You notice we merged them together. And the reason is because we understand that some persons got exemptions. So you still need to kind of sit in to understand the requirements or in terms of topics, right? What are those things that you should have known? All right. So in the joint class, so the way to run is maybe we pick like 4 questions. The first 2 questions will be things that AAF people will be concerned with, and you are there, you're learning. So if at all the self-paced course missed out anything based on syllabus, because we follow the syllabus, you would still pick those things from the AAF questions, right? And then continue to move you to advanced level. So literally the AAF people can actually drop off after the first 2 questions have been treated. For instance, you can say, well, I've done my AAF, I'm gone. But we'll always start with AAF class before AAF, right? So in terms of question answering. So they can say, oh, I'm done, I'm good. And some of them are just saying, I want to really be able to write like a professional. So I'm doing AAF, but I know it's my same age mate that is doing AAF, right? It's not like there's an age issue. So I can be the same person doing this AAF. So I can sit through the same class and learn to the topmost level, and then be able to also demonstrate that in my AF, and literally that then makes you an award winner. They then put you in a higher position, like your other mates that are just looking at the AAF level. So that's the goal. So it's kind of so what will I say to you? No worries, because it's an encompassing. It moves you from granular to where it should be. And for taxation, since I is currently not yet on our platform, so what I would say is for every topic you get fined, make sure you understand it, the granular. So for every topic in taxation, right? Because there's always going to be a lower version, in normal tax, even there's tax in ATS, So, but one thing I know with taxation, see, it's the same law. If the law doesn't change because you're now in a higher level, it doesn't reduce this. It's still the same law. So whatever law it is the law. So it don't matter whether you're low or high, right? But the only thing is the rigor of the question differs. For taxation, the rigor is not intense, unlike advanced taxation. So what I would say is for every topic you get to see in your pack, make sure you understand it from the granular to the top. Because at your level now, you need to understand the basic, you also need to understand the depth. So you make sure you do that span. But should you be scared? No. Because I didn't do skills myself. I just did professionals. I didn't do ATS. I just wrote professional exams. Okay, I did skills, sorry. I did skills, but hey, that skills wasn't even like the same courses because that was like long time ago. So I would not even remember that I did skills because well before IFRS, I never really took notice of those things. So by the time I eventually did professionals, literally, it was like I never did skills. So did it matter? Nope. Did I pass? Yes. Do I have students? Yes. In Covenant, I have a lot of not thousand, a lot of my students because my students get exemptions for skills, based on the university, they give exemptions. They get exemptions. So they only write professionals. And I have a lot of them that sit for professionals. These are not even first class students. Some of them are 2-1 students. In one sitting, they pass all their professional exam course, So um would it be a problem? No. What you need to do is understand the granular up to the highest level. Make sure you're not overlooking anything. If you don't understand the terminology, go read it up, whether it's explaining or not in your pack. I think that's my advice. Is that clear? Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Very
Priska.
clear. It's clear. Thank you,
Okay,
ma'am.
you're welcome. Priska, your hands have been raised. I hope you're there. I've been calling you. Are you willing to talk, Priska? Okay, she's not willing to talk. Okay, so any other questions? Should I call your name? Joy, I see you. You filled the questionnaire before coming, and I'm sure some of the questions there, some of you probably want to, diagnose some things. I don't know if there are questions relating to that, in addition to the audit questions. It's also a good time to know. You probably didn't write the last diet, not because you wouldn't have written it, but for some reasons you didn't write the last diet, what could be the problem? Might be something you want to look at, right? But let me see if there are no more questions. Let me then talk about other things we should note, which were not included in this presentation, because today's one was just merely audit. Now, what should you be looking out for? See, the truth you need to say. The truth is, number one, your mindset. See, this is key. I know I've dropped a lot of voice notes, and so that's one way I want to communicate with you a lot this season. I'm going to be also using the ICAN Warrior app to drop these things. See, your mindset is very important. Please forget past failure. Forget what you've heard about ICAN. Forget your friends. Forget the first class that failed. Forget all those things. Forget the people that wrote the pack and they still failed. Forget those things. Those things do not matter in your own success. I'm telling you, for the fact that someone that is so smart failed doesn't mean you'll fail. No, I've seen it. I'm telling you, as a lecturer, I've seen it. I've seen my student 2-1 pass, 160, first class fail. So it has nothing to do with those things. So let those things be out of your mind. Stop having a bad mindset about ICAN. I know people talk about it. It's difficult. Please, that's not you. You should have a positive mindset, a possibility mindset that concerning this exam, Immortalize Okay, will be chartered in November 2026. Like it should be something, it should be like a phrase, a word. If you say it yourself so confidently, you should know when you want to be chartered. You should know it because your mindset, is what you eventually would feed on. What you think of is what you would end up being. So I'm going to be chartered November 2027. Put it. If for those in skills and I have like 3 diets to go, I'm going to be chartered in November 2026. Seal it, write it, put it in front of you in your room, bedroom, put it somewhere in your laptop, let it be your screensaver. Put your name there, you'll be chartered. So once your mindset begins to change concerning this examination, I'm telling you, your results will be profound. Now, the reason why a lot of times people do not do well is because the mindset is bad. No matter what they do, mindset is bad, right? So if as a man thinketh in his heart, so is it. Like you think of is what you do. And this thing applies to general life, not just ICAN. If you think you would succeed, my dear, you will succeed beyond any reasonable doubt. But if you think you will fail, I'm telling you that's exactly what's going to happen. You cannot go beyond the mindset. In fact, it's like God is waiting for your permission. He wants to do great things in you, but your mindset is injuring him. It's like because you are not giving God the allowance to do miracles, he can't do it. And your mindset is what's stopping him because every time we want to bless you, you keep saying, no, I don't. God forbid. You keep saying the wrong thing, and God is wondering, okay, how am I supposed to force my way into this person? I can't force my way. I need his permission. I need this permission. So mindset very important. Be positive. Forget about past failure. You failed before. Who hasn't failed before? I want to look for those people. Where are they? They haven't failed in their life. Nothing. Every day, everything in their life they passed. Where are they? I don't even think they can be great. Like you've not failed before. Who hasn't? You failed before. That's not the issue. Are you going to fail this exam? No. I failed before. I'm not going to fail 2026 November die. Never. I'm not going to fail. That's the thing that should be in your head. I'm not going to fail. So how do you now make sure you get the mindset? Because it's easy to say have the mindset, but the question is how do you build that mindset? Because mindset don't just happen. For a fact that somebody is having a bad mindset doesn't just happen because they were born with it. No. Mindset happens based on what we feed on. I'm telling you, what you feed on helps or degrades your mindset. Now, what are the things you should be feeding on? If I were you, for instance, I'm going to go through the SEPTA Bridge good reports. I'll read them. I'm telling you, because some of you might not have enough people around you that you can leverage on their testimonies, right? You don't have people you can say, oh, tell me how your exam went in terms of those that did so well and all that. So you may not have that. So that's why the SEPTA Bridge good news or any other one you get, any other good report you get to see anywhere, dwell on them, read them, how somebody passed, testimony, how somebody said they were the best students. If you ever see an interview of the best ICAN student, if you ever see someone says, I was an ICAN prize winner in X, Y, and Z course. If you ever get to see the interview of that person, please listen to it. Just feed yourself with the right things, feed yourself. And of course, if you're a child of God, you're a Christian, the Bible, and whatever it is, feed yourself with the book that guides your religion. What does God say concerning my success? What are his clear words? What did he say in his book? What he said, I'm the head and the tail. Feed on that. Like, you need to see it. You begin to see these things, feed on this thing before you become it. And then your mindset changes, and then you begin to see positive things. And everybody's wondering, how come you're so positive? Some people, they say they're optimistic. Yes. How come you're so optimistic? Why won't I? Because I feed on good things. I feed on great things. Why some people are pessimistic? Because that's what they feed on, right? So in this country, for instance, people say terrible things. But people here are creating businesses. They are blossoming. They are doing great things, despite the fact that the economy is, as people say, bad. But for them, it's not. So for you, what are you saying? The economy is not bad in my own case. In your own case, what's your ICAN testimony? You have to say it. Mindset matters. Number two, you need to understand that there will be challenges. Yes, there will be, but prepare yourself before that time. Now, what are those things that can mess up things? Work commitments. Some of us work in organization where they want, yeah, they really want like a pound of our flesh. And yet they're wondering why we're not chartered. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation. This thing, I got a blow when one of my students told me in one of the big fours. Now, the big fours for us are the accounting, it's like these are our brothers and sisters. These are the people in the core of accounting profession. So when you get to work there, it's like you're in your career, that kind of thing. And then this my student lamented and said, what, ma, I work with the big four, I don't want to mention. And he said, do you know what? They told me I can't write ICAN until a particular year. And I'm like, Jesus. Literally, the company is not encouraging us to go forward to write ICAN. But yet, being chartered was going to elevate our movement. So you see the paradox, right? So some of us work in this kind of organization where there are restrictions on when to write examinations. But I'm saying to you, what are you seeing? I'm not saying resign, stay there. But the restriction passes. Are you ready? Because sometimes restrictions are lifted. Some of us are not even pushing any button. What I mean button now, you're not even talking to HR. There are restrictions. Can you pray about it and say, can I be a case for me? To see where bans are lifted for people. Can it be a case for me? Have we even explored that thought and option that I can speak to HR that I will not default in my responsibilities. I need just 2 days. I'm never going to read in their office. You'll never catch me read, but I'm going to do my work. All I need is 2 days. And do you know what? Do you know God can make a way for you? That those 2 days might be your off days. Organizations now they work from home and all that. And they're like, okay, as long as that day doesn't fall on the day you're supposed to be at work, it's none of our business where you go. Say, don't know. Explore that option. So don't close your mind because the same work that would say you cannot. They reward you once you're chartered, they move you next position, right? So I'm not saying break the law, but I'm saying be positive and try to see and pray that I can still speak to somebody in this organization that is in charge of decision making that might even give me an opportunity to. So when I speak to that person, they will not even remove the ban and everybody will be free. You might just be the Joseph or the Moses. Right, so please don't see those restrictions. Then family commitments and another thing. A lot of us are married, we have children for women and maybe for men too. Some of us are, we're just committed family wise. See, your family will be excited when you move to the next phase of your life. I'm telling you, they may not be able to squeeze out time for you to do anything. They might be saying you're absent, they might be saying all that. But the moment you move to the next level, they want you. They're excited. They're the first to share the good news. So find a way to pack it, right? It's about quality time, not necessarily quantity. So when you are with your family, make sure they will not forget you, even when you are not with them reading. Do you get that kind of thing? Be very like take this thing personal. Don't do what some of us did. One day I'll be chattered. That doesn't make sense because if you don't take step, you'll never be chattered. If I keep saying one day, by now I won't still be chattered. So don't keep saying that one day is part of my career goals. Is at what age do you want that to be? We just saw a new 16-year-old chattered. I'm not saying that everybody will chattered. I was never chattered at 16. I haven't got chartered after a PhD, so it's not like I got my own early. But the truth is, why are you postponing it? So work, family, and um financial resources for some people, right? Some people might not even have the financial resources. These are the kind of things that you want to see. Even if you don't have the money for the examinations, see. But if you believe you write this exam, I'm telling you, money will come. Money will come because I know someone. We did a webinar where we brought someone that said he even went to his boss and said he wanted to take a loan just so that I can write ICAN. Because it started at the very low level. He didn't have a degree before he started working. So it was not like well paid. But he had to walk up to his boss and say, can I get a loan so that I can write my examinations? Can you imagine? He took it seriously. And of course, see him now, big boy. See, I'm not saying take a loan, but I'm saying if you really want this exam, you won't get someone to pay for you. Yes, I have students. That very smart, intelligent student, but money is the problem. But there's a way go about it, and we still get money for them and they still pay. How? In terms of school fees now, I'm not even speaking for ICAN. Some of them get so good. What they do, they just pay attention to their academics, they do so well, and then they begin to apply for scholarship. And there's some people that are willing to pay for anybody's school fees as long as they can tell that their money is not going down the drain. And they were like, we're going to sponsor you because you're so smart. See, she used her intelligence and paid her school fees. The same thing with ICAN. If you're so interested in this thing, you can walk up to somebody you know that has the money and say, you know what? I put a I I'm not I put a pledge, or not even a pledge, but I hold you accountable that if you can pay for my examinations, I'm going to pass this exam at once. Yes, it's a good push on your own side too. I'm going to pass this exam at once. Don't let money be your problem because it's the same money. Like, if you get out this money, you should. And getting chartered is one way. The thing is, once you have like an accounting pedigree, like it's now makes sense to be chartered. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. Like, without being chartered, like there's a limit to where you can go to. But people that don't have accounting pedigree, they have options. They can apply for marketing job, even though they're writing ICA by the side. They can be chief marketer, they can be this one executive clinical, they can be computer engineer. They have options. Do you get what I'm saying? So if ICAN is not working, they have options. But for us, some of us, accounting background, it's like without icons, like why are you still on this accounting BSc? Why are you not chartered yet? They're not even asking for MSc in some organizations. They don't even really care about that. This certification is more important to them than even MSc or PhD. So that is important. So if that is just see, remember it's a long time to even bother about any barrier. I don't even care if you don't have the money now, stop thinking you'll not write the exam. Start thinking you write the exam. I'm telling you, if you really want this examination, you know what you can do, positively. You know who you can speak to, you know who you can write to, scholarships are available, people that will wait things for you. You know these things, right? You know. So just do something. Don't let money be your problem because if you do, you then know that same thing is also going to continue to be a problem. All right. So those are some of the barriers, that I get to hear people have. Then time management. Oh my God. Oh my God, this one very important because a lot of times we underestimate time. When we underestimate time. November seems far. It seems like end of year, like, and we're still mid-year. God, look at it. It looks so far. But do you know what? The longer it is, the better it is we prepare because want to start preparing 1 week, 1 month to the exam for 4 courses. That's why we begin to say, I'm not writing this diet. Oh no, I can't continue. Oh, I'm dropping it. But if there's a way you'll be prepared, you'll be waiting for November. You'll be wondering why this thing is even in November. You'll be wondering why is it not in August? Because you are ready now. And that's what we try to do here. We want to push you to finish this thing on time so that close to the exam period, you are revising. You just revision for you. Time, I mean, please, do not underestimate time. Always target 1 month per course. Always target that. Even though some courses don't need 1 month, auditing does not need 1 month. 15 days, you'll be fine. Plus revision, you'll be fine. But some courses will take more than 1 month, right? Because of the bulkiness and the information you might need to know, which might be new to you. So always tell yourself, I'm going to write 4 papers, 1 month per paper. and I have 4 months. And look at you, you have July, August, September, October. You have 4 good months. So everybody should, and case study for those in final year, case study is not a big deal now. Case study is just, it's something you can crash in. So add that to it. You can actually, if you've not planned anything serious, I'm telling you, you can still write off 5 papers. Even right now, you can make that decision and it will happen. I'm telling you, you can make that decision and it will happen, and you will just see it play out. And you want to maximize your mind. You want to maximize your potential. See, when you're preparing for exam, there's a way your mind is open, and there's a way you retain information so fast. I don't know if you ever tried it. If you're preparing for exams, for instance, and you're reading a lot, you'll notice that you know so much. You're attracting so many things. You're listening to news, you're remembering things. Because your brain is open up. It's like it's sponging information so fast. And that's the advantage, when you are reading. So why not just read multiple things so that your brain can sponge up things, because you've already woken it up already. It's not like you have to wake up and try to force your brain to understand things. So please, time. In fact, that one is important. Procrastination, I'll do it next month. No, start now. Why not say, let me finish and then I'll rest later? Okay, why not do that? Rather than saying I'll start in September, why not say, okay, let me start July, I'll finish in August, then I'll be playing in September, then I'll come back in October for revision. Why not do that? Why is that not better than to say I'll play till no, don't. Even if you are really busy, put in some time every day, log in times every day. Then motivation issues. Yeah, that's why we're doing accountability. A lot of I was sending you personal messages, and I'll continue to send you personal messages. Was that good enough? Because see, it's not something that people just say I love to write. It's write it because they need to move to the next level. It's not because it's all chicken and beef. It's not interesting, like that kind of thing. So what you need to do is be highly motivated by being around. You see messages, read it, even though you're tired, you just read it. Listen to listen, because those things motivate you. There are some conversations you will have, with your friends that will wake you up. You just you go and start a business. Some of you know these things. The same thing with ICAN. Being around this place, around the seven, because it's virtual. Maximize all the information we're putting out there. Just be reading it. There's a way you just be reading one message, you just stand up and stop reading and go and take your book and start reading, because be like, okay now, I've read, I need to read my book now for real. You just stand up and go and read your book, because at this point you're like, I've seen ICAN up and down, they disturb me so much. Except that bridge here and there, what happened? Let me just go and read. There's no point. There's no point. I'm telling you, that's how it's done. In fact, let me shock you, that's what I did one day. That's how I actually finished my ICAN, because it was a conversation. I'm telling you, it wasn't even because for me, it wasn't even like I needed the icon in my job. As an academic, it's something else, for us. But of course, why will I want to just be like that? And conversation with somebody, just somebody conversation about moving forward in life, and that was what I stood up, and I just stood up from that conversation and I started reading, and I wrote the exam, all the exams that time, because I I just I saw something. All right. So please be around people that will motivate you. Don't be scared. Whatever it is that has happened in the past, leave it in the past. Make sure you are open to a lot of information in terms of materials. Don't say these are the topics I want to read. No, open yourself to more. And there's another tip I want to give to for some of us, right, that work. There's one thing that helps, and that thing helps like magic, right? So there's something about reading before you sleep. Even if you're tired, 30 minutes, do it. It's not something. I'm telling you, if you try what I'm saying, you'll see it. And I pray it works for you. I know we're different, but try it. You need to work for you. Try and read before you sleep. Yes. In fact, those difficult topics, do them before you sleep. And sleep. And then wake up. Then you see that you have a different perspective about it. Sometimes some questions is not because we don't know it. It's just that there's an angle we need to be at to see it. There's an angle. If you don't see it in that angle, it's like we're cramming. So we just need to be positioned in a particular angle. And that is what I want you to do. every day, make sure you read before you sleep. Do something, even if 30 minutes, try. Just read. See, you're going to gain it. It might look like you spend 30 minutes, but I'm telling you, you're going to gain it because the level and the depth of understanding you will have, oh my God, by the time you wake up in the morning, it's like something happened in the night. It's as though while you were sleeping, information was not being explained. I don't know. Let's try it. Is that if it has ever happened to you before, can I get emoji? If you know you read through the night, you slept, you woke up, and then you realize that okay, I got a different perspective to this thing. It may not book, maybe a business idea or something. You just sleep on it and wake up. It's better. Thank you, Sean. Yes, this thing works. It works for me a lot. It works for people I know, it works for my husband. I know people around me that are very academic. It works for us a lot. So that's what I'm suggesting might work for you too. Just sleep through it. See, read that business valuation in the night. I know you're tired, just read it. Go through the videos, just watch it. Sleep, wake up. It's a different mindset. I'm telling you, then you now do proper in-depth study. But that angle, you're already on a better angle because now you now see it in different light. And that thing works a lot. And another thing I would say is don't read passively. Some of us read passively. Don't see. Even your pen that is faint is still sharper than your brain. Like, don't read passively. Especially if you're doing audit, don't even try it. Don't read the courses. But why am I saying audit? Because that one, there's a high tendency you read passively. I know you won't try reading SFM passively or SBR or FM or F. I know you won't try it because the calculation will wake you up. The calculation will make you look for pen and paper. You will look for it. But audit may not make you look for anything. You will just be watching or reading or just be there, nothing. But you check. I've spent 2 hours there, passive, nothing. Don't read it passively. How do you read actively? Take a pen, take a book. Yes, I can still manual. So follow the manual method until we start doing ECBT or whatever exams. Then we now begin to do another technique. But for now, I can is handwritten. So take a book as though you're going to the same way you would have taken a paper and a pen for I can. Don't jot in your laptop, please. Don't jot on your tab. See, if you're reading for ACCA, it's different. If you're reading for ICAN, it's different. They're two different things. Don't mix them up. I will not be reading for ICAN and be jotting on my tab. Never. I'm playing, except I'm writing on my tab. But do you know the best thing I will do? I will even write on paper, white pen and paper, better than writing on my tab. That's what I would do. You should write on white paper and pen. That's how to read actively. When you read, jot. Now create a paragraph, sentence, what you just read. Recall what I just read. Can I remember it? Recall it. Write it. That is how to read actively. By the time you do that, if it's half a topic you're able to cover, you are better off than you've read 5 topics, you cannot remember anything. So read actively. Jot. Please use a proper paper book. Buy it. Buy that 60 leaves or that 80 leaves. Buy it. Get pen. Write. Get it and write. That is how. I know when you do that, you begin to learn the terminologies. Because all this, for instance, oh my, you need to use the right words. You can't call management leaders. Oh, it's not allowed. You can't call people charged with governance and the rulers. No, those are mistakes that should never happen. You can't call them rulers, even though we know in English it may be the same, but in audit is not. Call them those charged with governance. You choose that word. Do you just you retain those information? It's right because some of us don't even work in those kind of organization. When you do, you get to the top. You're not yet at that height where you understand those key things in real life. Do you understand what I mean? So use those words by writing them around so you know what it means. Don't just begin to look for synonyms that would, no, don't simplify it. Audit is not simplified terminologies. Use the exact word that was used, right? So use it. If you say audit evidence, it's audit evidence. Don't change it to audit, um, audit anything. I don't know. Don't change it. It's the word. Use it. That's how you read actively. Read actively. All right. So please, I hope as more information comes up, I'm going to be sharing, with us. And Yes, so but the first thing we're doing tonight, or one of the first things we're doing is renew your mind. Let's see, that's where the energy is. I'm telling you, once that mindset is great, you will have energy to move on. Please renew your mind. All right. So please, I think I can call it I can call it a night if there are no other questions. We'll continue the conversation in our different groups that we're registered or enrolled in. All right. So can I get any emojis so know we can close for the night? Can I get emojis? Let me be sure people are still with us. Everyone seems quiet now. Are we all sleeping? Emojis. Oh, thank you, Sharon. Sharon is still with us. Oh, Wala is still with us. Nkichi is with us. Babaji is with us. Samson. Oh, everyone is. James is here. Umar is here. Louise is here. Yes. Okay, so oh, go ahead, Umar. Yes, go ahead, Umar. Thank you, Favor. Thank you. Umar, please go ahead. You have the floor. Umar, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Mike.
I can hear you.
Okay, good. Go ahead, please.
I didn't raise my hand for a question. I wanted to tap an emoji there. It's not for question.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Well, you all know you can DM me if there are personal things that will not be discussed publicly. Yes, I don't talk about my students usually. I don't mention their names. I can talk about the situation to encourage other people. I'll never mention your name, about whatever it is we talk about, never. So please DM me if there are things, specifics. Maybe if last time we had the first time we had audit, that was last diet. We had one student that failed audit for a lot of times, a lot of diet, and then by fate just joined September. And we had a strategic session before the examinations, and that was a game changer for him. All right, so some things are more unique to you. What I mean is, the same solution might not be for everyone. There's some things for some of us, it's just one thing. It's not necessarily these other ones. It's just one thing. All right, so that's why the DMs are where we can talk about those one thing, that specific thing that is just unique to your situation. All right. And that was how this man passed. He was so excited. Even me, I was just so glad that, because he took it better than us and and he passed, so at the final sale, that's so please DM. Yeah. So I think we're gonna call it a night. Have a blessed night, everyone. Good night, everyone. Good night. So I'll be putting the video on Septabridge YouTube. Yes, this one will be on YouTube. All right. Bye.
Right.
Bye. Thank you, Friday. Thank you. So please come to class. Tomorrow is for SBR and FR. If you're taking those courses, please be present. So more information will be distilled in our group. Bye.